Hey everyone, this is Matt Lopez from the Daily Trade. I am coming to you tonight for that watch list, right? Sunday watch list. We are coming for tomorrow, the 23rd of November, 2020. Ready to hike in some news that we got over the weekend. Not too big, but it was some stuff that we're able to tell, what might go on with the rest of the week leading into the holiday weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on this week, and I am going to talk about that throughout the whole video. There is also a lot of stuff that is going to continue throughout the rest of the year, and a lot of stuff that will affect these stocks. So it is very crucial that you pay attention, like and subscribe so you can pay attention to the content that comes out in the future. And second of all, I don't want to waste your time, so let's dive into the rest of the video. So pretty much Boeing news came out over the weekend, right? EU regulators to lift the Boeing restriction, and that is allowing them to fly after getting the news last week, right, of the 737 MAX. We were talking about it pretty much on every video live stream last week. And that was pretty much with the, buy the rumor from 140s to the 220s, and then sell the news when it came out on Wednesday when they approved it finally for Boeing 737 MAX to finally fly off. Right, that's after the 364 passengers that passed away in those two crashes. I believe it was 2 years ago or last year. But they were able to get that approved. So it looks like EU regulators allowing that as well after hearing this week's news with, sorry, not the FDA. I think I said FDA. I meant FAA. But that's something good for them. It may not affect our markets though. We'll see how it goes in the morning. If anything, you might be able to play somewhat of a run up, just seeing how it is. But we did get some downside towards the end of the week with that Boeing news coming out, just because a lot of people were taking profits from that large run up. Second of all, which is kind of big, to see a final FDA clearance, and now it's the FDA, not the FAA. The FDA clearance for the emergency use on the Regeneron's therapy drug. And this is something that we have been waiting for, right? Something that is finally going to come out. The vaccines, right, they're coming out, but they're not ready for use, right? They already have them manufactured, but they're not ready for use. Regeneron isn't a vaccine, but it's a therapy drug that is possibly going to enhance your ways to survive the COVID pandemic, right? The COVID, virus. So, with that being said, this is something that is good in light of the market, and it's something that can help stabilize somewhat of the Americans during the whole pandemic, and if they get sick at all. And that's something that is going to help us throughout the rest of the week, knowing that, hey, something else might come out before the holidays as well, as Trump as well is trying to push for a vaccine, and more vaccine news is going to be continuing to come out. And I'm going to show you something towards the end as we continue, because it is going to stick in your head, and I will show you in just a bit. So stay tuned. Next, we have the Thanksgiving run, right? Thanksgiving is around the corner. Thanksgiving is, guess what? It's Turkey Day, but the next day after that is Black Friday, and what comes after that is Cyber Monday. There's a lot of, what I see here, online consumer spending, right? The online consumer spending is going to be insane this year. Why? Because Black Friday is usually when you go into the store and physically go buy and shop. This year, we're going to be seeing a lot more traffic on those Shopify stores, those Amazon stores. You're going to see a lot more stuff towards that side of the market, and it's going to be a lot better for the online sellers to be there. That being said, we're going to see possibly a run up this week, leading into leading in pretty much into the weekend, as these online consumer spending sites are able to rack in some profits and a lot more than previous years. So we might see some statements next week, not this week, but next week, after the holidays, to actually get some numbers on how much they were actually able to pull in on traffic. And it may be even more consumer spending, right? More than people have gone in shopping, and that's why we're very interested to see what will happen. Another thing to note is that consumer spending is possibly going to be bigger online, but there's always the possibility that it may not, just because of how the economy has been, right? With the whole COVID pandemic, not many people are wanting to spend money. They want to probably save money. And that's because obviously, you don't know if you're gonna have a job. You don't know if you're gonna be getting, your stimulus, right? We've been waiting on stimulus. Um, there's a lot of stuff to look out for in the economy, and that's really what's gonna see to it into the rest of the year, is how the consumer spending at this point in time is affecting the economy towards the year's end. And that's what we're really going to see for our pretty much guidance towards, Christmas, consumer spending as well. So that's something that we have to look at. And now into the real stuff that, we get into charting. And I want to start doing more charting with you guys on Watchlist, because that is really what you're going to be paying attention to through the day trades that you will be doing. So I really stick with the larger cap. I don't really like to go for small cap. And I did do small cap just to, have one at least, because I know some of you guys do small cap. Large caps, they will rake you in more volume on the day, because day traders like to, obviously get in and out. So you need that volume, that liquidity in the stock to be able to get in and out, even for options, not the stock itself. If you're doing, options on these small cap, it may not be that easy to get in and out, because there may not be volume or open interest or anything to allow you to get in and out as quickly as you want to on a random option. And most of the people that start trading are usually trading these random options with their target price, instead of actually setting out a real plan. They think a strike price is a target price, and that is not right. The strike price is totally different from a target price. So as we get into this, let's jump right into Zoom. I'm going to show you this because this is something everyone needs to pay attention to. First off, I am going to show you the daily on Zoom. 30 minutes. Let's jump into this, and I will tell you what this is real quick. So volume profile, right, pretty much telling us where the most volume has been traded. Obviously, this shows your buys and sells. Your selling pressure is the yellow, and your buying pressure is the blue. This pretty much shows us where there's gaps in between, areas that will allow us to trade entry and exit a lot easier, right? Volume profile is very good, and I very much encourage you to use this to the best of your ability. And I use this on TradingView, by the way. But if you're using this, it is great to show you where gaps are in between the days, allowing you to take advantage of that and possibly trade swing trades overnight. So what we're seeing with Zoom here is that we're seeing a nice gap up, right? We could see a gap up, not overnight, but as we trade throughout the rest of the week. There is a possibility for it to come down, but as we see above here, this is a nice support level for Zoom. Not a support really, but it's a resistance. But here's your support, right? Your volume profiles right here is where mainly all your volume for the whole section on this 30-minute chart is loading in, right? So that means that if we do come down, we're going to come down to a low of about 394, and that's where you want to start buying in, right? You could start buying in on some equity at that level, and then just ride it up as we get back into COVID lockdowns again, as we currently are, right? Heading into the holiday weekends. But we are looking at a upside just because we see that there was a gap in between this level right here, and we see that this resistance level is holding up not too strongly though. And we, on the first pullback, second pullback, right? So the first pullback, second pullback, we want to see a third run, right? And that's going to be taking us into the 470s area, 460s. And that is going to be a nice run up even into this week as we, get in with those more lockdowns, and we hear about more of them into the holiday break. As you already know, there has been a lot of governors talking about lockdowns and stating them. So that's going to be good for Zoom. And that's why we already started running this past week, right? So after some consolidation, after that break of vaccine news, right? We got that consolidation and then the run, right? And now we're waiting for that continuation. So that should be on your mindset for this week as well. These previous levels up here are from previous volume profile that we did use to allow us to trade this breakout back in October. And this allowed us to trade somewhat of the breakout into a higher high. Now let's jump into Netflix, and I will show you this one because this one is very interesting. As I pull it up on, we're going to be using the same thing this whole video, so I can show you a little bit more and more examples. The volume profile on the daily, don't worry about this one right now, but the volume profile on the daily is actually showing us that we are ready for a nice liftoff, right? It's showing us that most volume is traded at this level, allowing us to know, all right, this is where something is going to happen. It's either we're going to break down here or we're going to lift off, right? We're going to continue higher. And that's allowing us to know, all right, we should be prepared for something to happen. And a candle should be equating us to higher highs or lower lows. And we can see that there's already a channel, right? We have the support here and the resistance here, looking at a pivot point. And if you don't know pivot points already, pivot points are algorithms based on previous days or previous sources, right? So if this is on the daily and it's only counting a few amount of days, it's on those days before this algo came out. So it'd probably be from this range to this range. So it's based on the algorithms and the price levels at those levels on this stock. And I usually use pivot points on most of my stuff, right? So looking at that, you can already see, all right, the middle of the channel is this, the 490 area, 491. Now let's jump into that 30-minute time frame. Or actually, I believe it's 15. What did I have it on? There it is. So on the 30-minute time frame, you are able to see right here that we're waiting for that breakout, right? So on Friday, sorry, let me pull this up. So on Friday, we did have a breakout sort of, and then we did break down after towards the end of the day. But that is the first pullback. Usually the second and third pullbacks are the best after the first pullback, right? So you have them being shaken out after that pump. But now we're waiting, and we could possibly get in the morning if this dumps a little bit towards that 484 level, which obviously, again, that volume profile again, right? So the most volume that's being traded, allowing us to get into a nice entry and riding it up towards that next level, which is 498 for me as a price target, because my pivot points algorithms, right, are basing it off that. So allowing us to see that, we can see that, all right, so on our daily, our channel to break out is at 491. And up here, we have that 506 level, right, on the daily. Go back to our 30-minute chart. And we can see right about here. Hold on, let me pull it up. On the 30-minute chart, we can see that we're at the 484 on the volume profile, but 491 is up here, right? And that's almost where we broke down below, and that's where we want to see again break on the daily. So continuing higher, that's going to allow us to continue and push higher towards maybe making a new high after a few weeks, right, of pain from the earnings in October. So we want to see this breakout. This is a nice little triangle that we're trying to break out of, right? So just seeing that in the next week, we'll probably see something break out and emerge in the next couple days. And I want you to pay attention to that. All right, and Tesla, right? Tesla, we've been talking about this all week. Love the stock. As I say, don't bet against Tesla. Let's see. So we do have our volume profile here. Again, we are looking at the breakout as we continued, right? From the beginning of the breakout this week, you were able to see that the most volume traded is at these levels around the all-time high, right? The all-time high was about 503 before. And you can see that way over here. You can see that the all-time high was about 503.34. And we did break that on Thursday, and we didn't retest it. So that means we are going to retest it, because guess what? We usually retest all-time highs a second time before actually breaking down. And you can see that on Friday, we kind of broke down, kind of shaking out a lot of people. We might even break down on Monday, allowing us to pump into end of day, or on Tuesday itself and go a lot higher as we get closer to December, right? December 21st, that's the date to remember. December 21st is when Tesla joins the S&P. All pretty much hype. Nothing really is going to change with the stock as long as, you know, nobody tries to do anything with it. But we are seeing Tesla allowing it for a run up towards this week, right? We wanted to retest those highs. Seeing that the most volume traded would be 498 level, we want to watch that level as well. And solo for the small cap people. Solo, I did mark this on a 5-minute chart, right? We have a lot of volume that was traded on Friday. That's also because a lot of volatility comes on the expiration days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for most of the ETFs. And for regular stocks, right, we're going to have the Friday as the most volatile just because of the expiration, right? People are either going to be opening or closing trades, and you got to watch for expiration. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So with solo, you had a lot of pumping during the first part of the day, and then kind of killed off during the rest of the day. But if we didn't know, we gotta push and try it a second time for that 1362. That's what I really want to see. With solo, I played solo back in July. Man, this stock I haven't touched since that time, but it is something that we need to look forward to. And it's something small cap that some of you small cap traders again, right? That you might want to trade. So looking at this 1142 level to break again, and probably get a $12 call towards this week, right? Just to scoop it up and see where we go. Possibly testing that 1362 level. So other than that, I wanted to thank you guys for not only watching but staying tuned because I need to show you something. On our website, we are going to be posting this with the actual indicator of what is going on in the market, right? The whole COVID news cycle is what affects the market. Here we have no progress is made. COVID infection and hospitalization numbers increase. And then we have market sells off on lockdown fears. Boom. Good vaccine and drug news. Boom. Market rallies temporarily on news. Boom. No progress is made. Guess what? We are currently in the COVID infection and hospitalization numbers increase, right? Our market rallies temporarily on news, which was the vaccine news last week on PFE getting approved. I mean, not approved, but the 94% what is it? The 94% success rate with the vaccine. And then there was no progress is made pretty much, and now we're back to this area. So we are going to see market sell-offs possibly after the weekend. And then more good vaccine and drug news. It's all a cycle. This is what it is. Same thing as a trade. I said it in the last video. Same thing as a trade war last year with between China and U.S. So it's all the same. There's always going to be some type of catalyst running the markets for the time being, and you just have to find that catalyst, find the pattern, and just trade the pattern. That's all it is, and that's all you have to pay attention to. It's not much to it, and I think a lot of people take it as a big deal, but it's really not. You just got to trade the pattern, and it's always going to happen. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching tonight's watch list. Then again, go ahead and subscribe, like the channel, like the video, and thank you. I will see you tomorrow live streaming 30 minutes before open, and I will also post a more detailed watch list in the chat. And if you go ahead and join that, you can get yourself a piece of the chat, market data, and even more. But other than that, watch the live streams. You can watch yourself the charts and the data itself flowing throughout the day. All right. Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.